Well, let's just do this to begin with because this is a long time coming.
Turn it down a little bit.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the newest member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, the first representative of the mighty Orange Crush defense. Let's give a round of applause to our good friend Randy Gradishar here. Let's give a long time coming, man. I know you're proud and you're happy to be here, but what was it like, Randy, last night when you're sitting there at the NFL Honors and they bring you up in one of those little Star Trek tubes to introduce you to the crowd?
Yeah, they informed us all.
Yeah.
This is what you got to do, and this is how we're going to get you there. And so they started talking to us. They repeated it a number of times. They said, you're going to go up in this, I call it a little elevator.
Yeah.
And you're going to stop. And then when it starts going up again, you're going to end up on stage. And then they said, just stand there and look at the lights way up in the stands. And so when it's red, just like a stoplight, when it's red, you just stand there. And then when the lights turn green and your name, then you go walk up there. And so, and then for me, like I was in awe of seeing all those people out there and having the opportunity to finally be one of those final candidates of going in the Canton Hall of Fame.
Well, we're so proud of you and happy for you. I do need to tell people, though, last night wasn't a surprise for Randy. You've known about this a couple weeks. How did you find out?
A couple weeks, and the Broncos media called, and they said, "Well, Greg Penner and Carrie Penner they'd like to have you and your wife, my wife Beth, come in and share about the Orange Crush. Why were you guys so good?" And so, what was I going to say? No. To the Bronco owners and say, okay, and then Steve Atwater was going to be there too to ask you a couple questions because he's involved with the media. And so I said, sure, we'll be there tomorrow. So we went in, my wife and I went in over on Friday, and then we sat down with Greg and Carrie Penner in his office. And I was explaining a little bit about Orange Crush and why we were so good. And then all of a sudden, Greg got up and said, well, let's go to this other room. So we just followed him. And then all of a sudden, we walk into this room, and there's 25, 30 different media people. And I immediately hugged my wife. I said, I'm in. And so that was just a real exciting time. And then I'm looking around, and I look to my right, and it's like, that guy's Tom Jackson. And then there's Billy Thompson there. Wow. So the Broncos arranged that for having those two guys come in, and it was just really a blessing for me of knowing that I'm in, and then having Billy and Tommy alongside me and my wife Beth, and so it was just a great day, and spent time talking to all the media and stuff, and then I kept realizing I'm finally in.
Well, I'm a child of the 70s and 80s, Randy, growing up in Denver, and you're a hero to those of us in that era. Of like many people today's generation, everybody has different sports heroes, and watching and maturing with the Orange Crush and living the experience you had, I find it hard to believe that you were only the first member of that defense. This defense, people don't understand how good you were. You led the NFL in scoring defense. Joe Collier fashioned something on that field that made you different than every other defense. Why do you think it took so long to get the respect that you got?
Well, I don't really know. I finally got the respect. I represent the Orange Crush defense.
Yes.
And as I remember, and people have told me that the Orange Crush has never been noticed.
Not like the Steel Curtain. Not like some of those defenses. You guys were just as good.
The Purple People
Eaters.
Yes. And so all of a sudden we got that name, and then played, and our defense was just nationally known for the Orange Crush. And then I forgot to mention that we made the Orange Crush Bottling Company quite a bit of money.
You did. Had many of those.
People going to May D&F, Lazarus, buying T-shirts, buying hats, and all that kind of stuff. And so that was just a great year. And I look at it now, and I'm saying, well, at least I appreciate and I feel blessed to have that be the first guy of our era, and I'm hoping that now some other of the guys will be notified or noticed,
Yeah.
and then having that same opportunity that I've been through.
Well, that's good on you. All right, I've got some of my co-hosts back in town. They wanted to ask you a couple questions. They're just as happy as I am. Mark Mosier, fire away.
Yeah, Randy, Moshe here. I'm in Florida with the Avalanche right now, but over the years, I can't imagine how frustrating it was for you. And I know that Jeff and Woody advocated for you for so long, and they were so right. And this is so long overdue. But every year, I would get so damn mad, and if I'm mad, and Vic's mad, and Brett's mad, and all Broncos Nation is mad. I can't imagine what it must have been like for you, so frustrating because we knew that you should have been in. And some of these young whippersnappers, I don't think they understand what a great career you had, how prolific you were. Maybe they just couldn't believe, what they were being told. But to finally put that frustration aside, deal with it and say it is what it is, and then to finally get in, what goes through your brain? Is it just ultimate relief? Is it finally? How does that work when you finally get the news? And that's a wonderful thing the Penners did too.
Well, I'm just glad. I'm very thankful and blessed that I'm going in before I die. So it.
Me too.
Me
So,
three. But I think that I think that matters too, though. I really do. I think overall, do the right thing for people.
Yeah, and I was joking there, but the reality
sure.
of it is of just being able to represent not just the Bronco team and the ownership and the Phipps's way back then, and then having that opportunity, and now a few years later, being that Bronco thing, because I'm one of 10 guys or 11 guys. As a team, and I've always thought of team from high school to college to Denver Broncos, and as most people know, that team is a team, and you rely on others. And look back on that draft back in what John Ralston drafted all of us. That whole defense, and then we all of a sudden we got very good, and then Joe Collier and Merle Moore and Bob Gamble and Stan Jones, the coaches, they put that 34 defense together. And for my career, nobody knew how to block us or to defense or from a defensive standpoint. What are you guys doing? And so the reality of it is we confused a lot of teams for a long time, and then particularly for sure on '77 going to the Super Bowl. First time the Broncos in 17 years, won more games than we lost. And so, and those Bronco fans back from 1960, even all the way through today, and remembering Colorado at that time and playing the Steelers in the first divisional playoff at Omaha High, and then playing the Raiders, and then now going to Super Bowl 12. And I kind of think I'm finding out and asking, this is Super Bowl 58.
Yeah.
And I go way back. I don't even know how many years that is. I don't have a calculator with me, and how many years that is going back that far. So it's just being here and having the opportunity to participate and experience this, and looking forward to the next couple days, and then going to the Super Bowl, and walking back out on the football field, and knowing that this honor that has come to me is just a great feeling.
Well, Randy, I want to say two things here. First of all, congratulations. It's funny because your numbers, if you look them up, the fact that you had 2,000 tackles, over 2,000 tackles in 10 years, these are like Wilt Chamberlain numbers. Like I don't know how you racked up that many that quickly. But the other thing was you never missed a game. Like at that position, in a decade's worth of football, you never missed a game. How many times did you feel like you were close to missing one? Or how much pain were you playing through?
Well, I never thought how many I'm going to miss. My attitude was always, I keep playing even when I'm kind of hurt. I can play, and again, credit goes back to Joe Collier and the defensive coaches of being able, and I was blessed to not have any serious injuries, not miss a year or miss a game or that kind of thing. So it was just a great experience of being able to do that, and I'm very grateful to the Lord for not having those physical injuries. Now I got a few physical injuries when I'm 72 years old. From
Don't we all?
all these replacements I have, my shoulders, my knees, my back, my hip, and it's like, okay. So I always remember that I used to play in the Broncos NFL with the Broncos.
Right.
Those were always great reminders. Because when you can't lift your shoulder this more than this, I remember that every second. And my wife keeps asking me, it's just like, get this and get your clothes up there. I said, well, I can't reach up that high.
Well, you don't get here, Randy. Listen, you don't get to the mountaintop as you are now without help from friends. And I know the folks at Phil Long, you've worked with Phil Long for many years, Jay Cimino and company, they were one of your biggest they pushed this through, man. They pushed this through with support. Not only the media, but without Phil Long and the helpful people there, you're not a Hall of Famer today. I think we all know that, right?
Well, yeah. And I go back probably 25 years.
Yeah.
And I've been with the Phil Long Dealership Group for the last 26 years, and just a real blessing for me. And the owner, a gentleman named Jay Cimino, started this 20-some years ago, and it's all because of him.
Yes.
Because the reality of it is, I would have never thought, because of who I am, if I get an award, it'll come or something. But Jay took the reins and built a committee.
Yep.
And I'm just very, very happy that and celebrating with all the 1,400 employees of Phil Long dealerships and seeing them every day, because I'm still working. I got permission to come to the Super Bowl.
Take the day off.
And take the day, a couple of days off. So that is just really neat, and just having that opportunity, and all that's through the Lord. I'm very grateful for that.
Final question. I walked in yesterday. Right in front of me was Fred Biletnikoff. So, Hall of Famer. He was here. He was hanging out, Raider Nation. And I'm thinking to myself, God, that 1977, it was 76 or 77, I don't remember what part of the calendar, when you beat them in the AFC title game.
77.
Was it 77? Because 76 season, 77 title game. And I'm thinking, what happened to the goalposts that they were trotting down Federal Boulevard? Did you know whatever happened to those goalposts? I've never seen goalposts taken out of the stadium before.
Well, and I had, after the game, I had to go home and watch on the news on the local TV.
Yeah.
And then I didn't know that they even tore those down. I know people were coming on the field, and they were so excited. And some of us just kind of hung around on the field. And then all of a sudden, we go in, and I hear old Tom Jackson yelling and screaming, and we're going to the playoffs. We're going to play the Steelers, and that led us to the Super Bowl. And just having that experience. And then, I'm thinking finally that I was part of the Denver Bronco team and the community and the people of Colorado to say, we're finally in the Super Bowl.
You are finally in the Hall of Fame. It's a long time coming. It's well-deserved, and I'm happy to shake the hands of a Hall of Fame.
Well, thank you very much, Vic. Appreciate your time.
All right, boys, let's take a break. Live from Radio Row, the great Randy Gradishar.